Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, the host of We Need to Talk with Chris Godinez on every Sunday at noon on Arizona Mountain Standard Time. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. If you feel you need a therapist, please go to Google, type in therapy, your city, Psychology Today will pop up, click on that, and it will have all of the therapists in your area. Also, the views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other goddamn therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka, done. Also, okay, so getting all of this stuff out, finger stuck in hair, hello. Getting all this stuff out of the way. So Susanna Quintana is going to be on this Sunday. Woo! So I'm really excited. Susanna Quintana is a friend of mine. She is a survivor of abuse herself. I believe she's written a book, or she's in the process of writing a book. She is just an outstanding, fabulous person, and I'm really looking forward to talking with her. We are going to be discussing, so when I talked the last week, we were talking about getting out of abuse while you're still in abuse, and this time with Susanna, we're going to be talking about surviving. You know, it's like you've gotten out, now how do you heal and move on? How do you put the past in the past and not keep dragging the abuser up? So we're going to talk about that, or how to deal with a Hoover, or how to deal with all of that stuff. So she and I are going to be discussing that. So I'm really looking forward to having Susanna Quintana on this Sunday at noon, Arizona Mountain Standard Time. Also, Boise is on. So if you're going to the lecture, you will get a free mug, which I don't have in front of me. Of course not. Why would I? Oh my God. So sign up for that. We're trying to find a place for the book signing, because apparently Boise is very weird about natives coming and selling their books there. It's really kind of bizarre. It's kind of like, you'd think they'd want people to come in and just buy more books, but whatever. Anyway, we're trying to figure it out. So the book signing is August 25th. The lecture is August 25th. I will be in Boise. Come see me. Let's see, what else can I tell you? I have a Patreon account. So if you want to support these videos and, you know, I get enough money doing the Patreon, then I can come to more places, because then I'll have the monies to go to more places. So there that is. So it's Patreon/We Need to Talk with Chris, if you're interested in supporting that. Okay, I think that's all the announcements. I can't think of anything else. After Boise will be Honolulu. So if you're in the Honolulu area, start talking me up and let people know that I'm going to be there. And that'll be up on Eventbrite if it's not already. So if you're interested in getting tickets to either of these events, go to Eventbrite, Mercury Eventbrite, and it will have, you know, the sign up thingy for that, because technology. Okay. All right, so here are some questions. I just wanted to do a quick Q&A right now, because Susanna's coming on, and I wanted to make sure that, oh shit, I didn't plug this in, did I? Fuck, I need to run and go get the battery thingy. Okay, yeah, planning. It's a great thing. All right, so so I just wanted to do a couple of really quick Q&A little things, because Susanna's going to come on this week, and I was going to do a Q&A this weekend, but since Susanna's coming on, I figured I'd drop this now. I got to go at like 11 o'clock. So anyway, okay, is it normal for a narc to act extra nice once they know you're trying to leave? Yes, absolutely. As soon as they do one of two things. I mean, narcissists, or every narcissist is different, but they do usually do one of two things. When they know you're about to leave, when they know that you're just fed up to here, suddenly the old them comes back, and they love bomb, love bomb, love bomb, love bomb, love bomb, and then you go, oh, they're back, and it's going to be fabulous. And no, it's not, because they get you just long enough for you to stop packing your bags, or to unpack your bags. And then as soon as they know that they've got you, bada bing, bada boom, they're back to doing their normal bullshit. So yeah, it is totally normal for them to do that, because they don't want you to leave. They don't, because you're their favorite punching bag and or source of supply. So yeah, that is absolutely what they do. They absolutely get super nice and try to love bomb, and oh baby, it'll never happen again, and let's work on it, and yada, yada, yada. It's a load of crap, because honestly, people don't treat people like shit. They don't. Normal, healthy people do not treat people like shit and then flip and then go, oh, I'm sorry, da 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 da, bullshit, motherfucker. You know, normal, healthy people don't treat people like shit on a normal basis. If something does happen and we need to make amends for it, yeah, we will clean that up right then and there. But then, you know what? It never happens again. But with an abuser, with a narcissist, it happens over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And it never stops. It never fucking stops. So yeah, they do get nicer when you're leaving because they don't want you to leave, and or you'll leave and then the Hoover happens, you know, again, oh baby, I've changed, this will never happen again, yada yada. They get you back just long enough so that they can turn around and be the one to dump you, because assholes. All right, because I dropped the bomb that I filed for divorce and now he's being super nice. Yep, that's what they do. Absolutely, don't trust it. Do not trust it. He's nope, it's a manipulation. Don't buy it. They're trying to get back control. Absolutely. Yeah, it is messing with your head, because that inner child that has the original wound desperately wants that person to be okay. So you need to work on the original wound. You need to recognize that that person is not okay and never will be okay. And you need to get the HE double hockey sticks the hell away from them. So, and do not have contact. Everything's through writing. Everything is through writing. And what I've seen is that when a target of abuse confronts the abuser and says, we're done, that's it, here's the divorce papers, we're done, that's when the abuser goes into la-la land and blows up the phone with texts or sends crazy emails or calls them or, you know, over contacts them because they want control back. Control got taken away from them and they don't like that. They need to be in control all the time. They need to be watching you all the time. And if you've asserted your independence and you're like, we're done, here's the divorce papers, wow, that spins them out of control, because now they're not in control because they can't control you. So good job. So don't let it mess with your head. It's a game. That's what it is. Recognize it for the Hoover bullshit that it is. Don't fall for it. Contact your tribe. Contact your tribe. Talk to us. Get people to support you. Get people to help you. If you need to, phone a friend. You know, it's like, oh, okay, he just texted me and he wants me to call him or he wants me to text him and da-da-da-da-da. No, you're not going to do that. Block them. Hello, block them. You know, that's what friends are for, is to say, block them. Block them. Be done. Are you done being abused? Are you done? Because if you are, block them and do not respond. Absolutely. Okay, there's that. Yeah, and it's a horrible feeling to be in. So, yeah, well, the narcissists are codependent in that they need supply. They're not codependent in that they want to fix people. They're not codependent in that they want to help people. They are codependent in that they need a supply to get high off of. That's how they are codependent. But it's not codependent in the traditional sense or the empathic sense in which a person is wanting desperately to fix the other person. No, they could care less about what happens to us. The only thing that they care about is that somebody is me, I, more their genitals, basically. They're just looking for somebody to stroke their ego. So, yeah, okay. Yeah. Do you find that they treat people differently depending on the gender? Yes. Friendly and loving to women, mean to men, or vice versa. Yeah, it depends on what their issue is. It depends on who their issue is with. Is it a mommy issue or is it a daddy issue? So yeah, it very much depends on what their issue is. Got my first third-party Hoover after 6.5 months, no contact. What a coward. Yes, they will go through other parties. They'll try to get flying monkeys. They'll do all of that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's really yucky ducky. The cycle is killing me. So get out of it. Step out of it. Step out of the cycle. And the only way to step out of the cycle is to go, no contact. No contact. Get with a good therapist. Start working on your self-esteem. Start working on the inner child workbook. Start working on CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker. Get that original wound handled. And that will help you step out of the vicious cycle. So, all right. Once you know what you're dealing with, it's almost amusing to watch and expect their textbook behavior. You come prepared, stay no contract. Yeah, exactly. And they do, and it is textbook because they can't vary from the script. I mean, this is the thing that just blows my mind. No matter where in the world they are, they say the exact same things. They do the exact same things. They pull the same exact manipulations. They do the exact same hoovers. You know, it just... mind blown. You're very welcome, Heather. You're very welcome. How do I know someone has fleas because of suffering abuse or is a narcissist? So you educate yourself. You educate yourself. So narcissists do set behaviors, textbook, like we just talked about, and they have traits, hi Scotty, they have traits of at least minimum 5 of the 9. So go look up the traits. And if they've got a minimum of 5 of the 9, you're dealing with a narcissist, not somebody who has fleas. Somebody who has fleas recognizes that this behavior they don't like. They don't like this behavior. They don't like the way they're behaving. They don't understand why they're behaving. Well, geez, mom and dad were abusive, or geez, I was bullied, or something like that. And I'm doing behavior that I don't like. Narcissists don't fucking care. They're not going to go to a therapist and be like, gee, I really want to get honest. I really want to have a come to Jesus meeting with myself. I really want to change this behavior. No, they don't want to. They want everybody else to change. They don't want to change. They want everybody else to change. So fleas recognize that they're hurting people, and they recognize they don't like it, and they want to change it. So those are fleas. You can squish those. Fleas can be squished. If they're full-blown narcissists, not so much. So there that is. All right. No wonder we feel lifeless at the end. Yeah, absolutely. They do. They suck the life. Energy vampires. There's a book out there about energy vampires. I don't know who it's written by. I have not read it yet, but I heard it was pretty good. So it was talking basically about how to avoid energy vampires. And they were talking about narcissists. So they do. They suck us dry. They want everything, and they don't want to give anything. And they're very selfish, and they're assholes. My question is, you say borderline's malignant gets worse with age. So many research sources out there say that they often get better, 7 to 10 symptoms gone, which could be giving false hope to targets. Why does the resources have that so wrong, or is it correct in some cases? I hate that there is so much bad info out there on personality disorders. Everything depends on the person with the personality disorder. So in most cases, if they are malignant, like they've hit the end of the spectrum where they are narcissistic, borderline, psychopathic, control freak, Machiavellianism, whoa, there's no hope. They're done. Stick a fork in them. Their ego is so ginormous that they will not take responsibility for what they have done. Now, if you're borderline and you're on the traits of end, yeah, you can work on that. Abso-fucking-lutely. And what often happens with the quiet borderlines, the ones down at the traits of end, when they reach middle age, they've pretty much isolated themselves, and they're starting to go, ooh, I don't like this. This is not what I want. I don't like what I'm seeing in the future. How can I change this? Those are the ones that will go get help. Those are the ones that will get into a DBT program. Those are the ones that will work and strive to work on that original trauma that created the borderline behavior in the first place. Because remember, both borderline and post-traumatic stress disorder are rooted in trauma. So if they're willing to face the trauma and they're willing to work on that original wound, they have a shot at a normal life of emotional regulation. If they do not, if their ego is in charge and they're like, fuck y'all, I know better, yada, 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 they don't care, then the ego is going to drive them into malignancy, and the malignancy is going to drive them into just circling the drain, because nobody's going to put up with that. There comes a point in time when eventually everybody can see it, and nobody is going to put up with that shit. At least nobody healthy is going to put up with that shit. So it depends. It depends on, are they quiet borderlines? Are they non-malignant? Then there's a possibility. If they have reached malignancy, and that's what I'm talking about, when they have reached malignancy and they are actively harming people and they enjoy it, stick a fork in them. They're done on so many levels. So, all right. Thank you. Thank you, Anna. That was sweet. Narcs are a vicious disease. Get vaccinated, which means educate yourself. Educate, 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 educate. The more you know, we just sound like that NBC thing. Do. The more you know. The more you know, the healthier you are. The more you know, the more protected you are. And the more you know, the more you're going to be able to see it and sidestep it, as long as you work on that original wound. Now, there are targets of abuse out there that have had all of the amazing education, but they never worked on the original wound, and that makes them vulnerable for another narcissist to walk in and just work that motherfucker like nobody's business. And they do. They do. They look for the vulnerability and they go for it because they're evil. There you go. All right. Yeah, they get worse because they burn so many bridges and they end up alone, out of supply, and they decompensate. Circle the drain. Absolutely. Uh-oh, kids just came in from outside. I'll try not to drop the F-bomb so much. Okay. Emotional Vampires by Bernstein, PhD. Thank you, Gina. That's awesome. Thank you. It breaks down all the different types of personality disorder. Okay, yeah, absolutely. It's a great book. Read it. Read it. Like I said, any of these books by people who've been there, done that, or by PhDs who are studying it, read them. Take what works, chuck the rest, basically. You know what I'm saying? It's like, get educated. Read, because you've got to be prepared for how these people act. Okay. Does the golden child of a narcissistic mother become her scapegoat when the first scapegoat goes no contact? Yes! So in families that do this, that have to have the kids in boxes, basically. So there's the golden child, there's the ignored middle child, there is the scapegoat, there's the young comedian that tries to keep everything light. Yeah, the roles flip and change. So, for example, in my family, my oldest sister was always the golden child. My middle sister was always ignored. And then I was the comedian. I was the one that, had the sense of humor and tried to keep things light and, steer things away from serious because, when things got serious, that's when people started getting hit. So, yeah, the roles flip. So then my middle sister suddenly, the older sister did something to piss dad off, and then the middle sister became the golden child, and then the middle sister did something to piss dad off, and then I became the golden child, which I knew was a load of because it was a never-ending cycle. And they do that to keep you off guard, off balance, because in a healthy, normal family, you love your children equally. I love you all. You are my child. All of you. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's none of this, you're the golden child, you're this, you're that, I'm going to treat you differently than this way. No. In dysfunctional, fucked up families, yeah, there's a golden child. You fucking betcha. And there's other roles. And yeah, they'll flip. And in a single child family, that poor kid is going to be ignored, scapegoat, golden child, depending on the mood of the crazy toxic parents. So yeah, it's a mind. So yeah, absolutely. All right. What does it look like when the original trauma wounds start to heal? Signs you're healing the original wounds. Well, okay, you start working on whoever harmed you in the first place. And you're starting to heal when you start standing up for yourself. When your self-esteem is to the point where you don't have those negative, nasty thoughts just running around in there and, mean and nasty. When your internal dialogue first thing in the morning is, damn, it's good to be alive. I'm on the right side of the grass. That's awesome. When your gratitude is there, that's how you know when you're healing, because it's positive. It isn't this constant. It's positive. It's like it's going to be a good day. Oh my God, it's awesome. It's kind of weird and cloudy out. It's kind of freaky looking, but it's going to be a good day. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's positive. So that's how you know that you're starting to get healthy, is when your thoughts start getting healthy. When you can put the shame, the blame, and the anger back onto the original abuser and any other abusers that came after, so that you're not carrying around the shame, the blame, the guilt, the fear, the blah, 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 blah. When you're able to take that backpack off and dump it over their fucking head, metaphorically speaking. Ooh, I swore again. Sorry about that. So dump it over their head, metaphorically speaking, and give it back to them. That's when you know that you're getting healthy, is that you're no longer carrying around the weight of the world, and you are no longer taking responsibility for their behavior. The things that they did, the things that they said. Absolutely. You hand it back. So that's kind of a clue that you're getting healthy. And you start dumping all of the toxic people in your life. You start literally doing a clean out. It's like, okay, this person is rude and disrespectful, and no, I'm not going to have. This person always blows me off. You know what? I'm not interested. This person always, and you just get rid of them. You clear out room in your closet so you can go get the good stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I think people get freaked out, is because they start getting healthy and they start getting rid of all of these toxic people, and they're like, oh my God, I'm going to be alone. I don't have any friends. Da, 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 da. Okay, stop. Take a deep breath. You're clearing out your closet. You're making room for healthy friends. You're making room for your tribe. You're making room for the people who will actually really, honest to God, love and support you and be there for you and tell you the truth anyway. You know, do you see where I'm going with that? It's like, you're clearing out room. You're not going to be alone unless you choose to be alone. It's pretty much that simple. Okay, hold on. I want to get to some of these questions that I actually wrote down, and I don't know that I'm going to have time. How do I stop or undo a smear campaign? How do I make people see through the BS? You don't. You don't. You basically don't. So here's the deal. When we as targets of abuse try to undo a smear campaign, well, okay, there's two ways to do it. All right, hold on. I am of two minds here. Hold on. On the one level, you don't with the flying monkeys. So know who the audience is, basically. It's like, is the abuser smearing to their flying monkeys who are going to say and do whatever the abuser wants anyway? In that case, no, you don't. You don't even bother, because it's like, I would have a better conversation with this wall than I would trying to talk to flying monkeys. Now, if they have smeared to your tribe, your friends, your family, yeah, you talk to them and you educate them and you encourage them to watch videos like mine or Dana Morningstar or Richie Grannon or Ross Rosenberg or Melanie Tanya Evans or who am I missing? Oh my God, Kim Saeed or Shahida Arabi. You know, you encourage them to educate themselves as to what this is. If you try to defend yourself against a smear campaign to people who have already, you know, sided with the abuser, you're going to look like the crazy one, basically. And really what you do is you just ignore. Ignore, ignore, ignore. Rise above, ignore, live your life, live well. The best revenge is living well. What they want is poke the bear, poke the bear, poke the bear, poke the bear. They want you to go, bah! So that you look like the crazy one. The calmer you get, the more you show people that this is, you know, this whole story is not who you are, the more they're going to look like the nut job. So you don't engage. You do not engage. There's no way to, you can't, the best way to win is to not play. Okay, there it is. Okay. Okay, does the golden child of a narcissistic mother become her scapegoat when the first, yes, I answered that one. What does it look like when the original trauma would start to heal? I answered that one, sorry. Okay. Okay. Okay, Rebecca, I'm not understanding your question. Could you rephrase that so I can try to answer that for you? All right. So here's the deal. I think narcissism is underreported. They're saying that it's somewhere between 7 and 10% of the population. I'm calling closer to 30 because there's just a whole bunch of them out there. So yeah. And it's underreported because think of it this way. You can only report what you are seeing. Narcissists generally do not walk into a counseling office and go, hi, I want help, because they don't think they need help. So they're not going to be being seen because they don't go get help. They just don't. And if they do, like, so let's say they come into a couples counseling session, they'll go 1 or 2 times until the therapist figures it out that they're abusive, and then done. So yeah, I do think it's an underreported thing. I absolutely do. Narcs have an exceedingly difficult time with midlife crisis and aging. They do. They're terrified of it. They are terrified of death, like terrified. So, and it's because they can't control it. You know, it's like a normal person or somebody who is secure in their selves, in themselves, or in their spirituality kind of goes, yeah, well, when your number's up, you know, enjoy what you got and be nice to people, and I'm not going to worry about it, right? But a narcissist will fight the aging process like nobody's fucking business. They really will. They will, every plastic surgery you can think of, they will, you know, do everything they can to try to look as young as possible for as long as possible, and they'll get Botox and this, that, and the other thing. Now, there is nothing wrong with wanting to look better. If it helps your self-esteem, that's great. But if you're thinking that somehow getting Botox and a tummy tuck and, boob job after boob job and your nose done and your chin done and your cheeks done and this, that, and the other thing is going to somehow prevent you from dying, you are sadly mistaken. So yeah, they fight it tooth and nail because they're terrified and they don't like the idea of dying. And that's oftentimes why you see them turn into the communal narcissists, which then suddenly are going to church 6, 7, 8, 9 times a week and donating money like crazy because they're trying to buy their way into heaven, and it doesn't work that way. So even with traveler's checks, you can't take it with you. Anyway, all right. All right. How can I get my narc ex-husband to stop sending me abusive emails through our family wizard? He ignores the therapist and the parenting coordinator and the divorce agreement. I just want the abuse to stop already. Well, you contact your lawyer and you let them know that this is what's going on, and then you you basically say this is abuse and what are you going to do about it, and you take it back into court. You've got the evidence. You've got the evidence, and you've got your therapist backing you up, and maybe it's time to go full custody. So, and that's going to be hard to prove because the court systems are filled with narcissists and disordered people themselves, and courts are loath to give full custody unless there is abuse of the children going on. So I would say go talk to your attorney, see what they say. If it was me, I would see what they say about going full custody so that you don't have to have contact with them anymore. All right. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. Yes, absolutely. Okay, Rebecca. Well, if you think of your question, IM it to me because that was, I didn't quite understand what you were saying. Okay, so questions that I had. Okay, so why are narcissists attracted to communal narcissism? Why do they pretend to be spiritual gurus? Or why do they pretend that they are powerful in this black magic? Well, it's a power trip. It's a power trip, and it's a fear thing, and it's an intimidation thing. So oftentimes what I see with narcissistic abusers is they will tell their target of abuse that they are this very powerful warlock, if they're a guy, or this very powerful witch, if they're a girl, and or that they are somehow psychic and they can see into your soul and they know you better than you. Do you see where I'm going with that bullshit? It's a control thing, guys. It's a control thing. If they can rule through fear, obligation, and guilt, you are in the fog. So they want people to be terrified of them. They do. They think they're all powerful, and they're not. It's like, literally, it's like the Wizard of Oz. It's like, here's the guy behind the curtain going, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. That's what a narcissist is. It is. The Wizard of Oz is a great analogy. So, it's like they have no power. So they need to align themselves with something they feel is powerful, either God, well, I'm doing this for your own good, and I am the patriarch of the family, and I am telling you because I wear the pants, and you will do what I want you to do, and da-da-da-da-da. There's that kind of narcissist. Or you have the New Age narcissists who pretend to have this hotline to the universe, and I know you better than you know, which is a load of shit. The only person who knows you the best is you, because you live with you 24/7. Hello. And that's where, this is a good point. When you are looking for a therapist, if the therapist basically tells you that they know better than you, or that they are, more in tune with you than you are, fire them. Because here's my whole thing. When I do therapy with somebody, I let them know, you are steering, or you're rowing the boat. You are going to be the one rowing the boat. I am just going to be from the back, letting you know where the obstacles are. And you get to choose whether you want to run into that obstacle or not. Do you see where I'm going with that? So the therapists who are like uber controlling and I know you better than you do, that's a big red flag, because the client knows themselves better than anybody. So do you see where I'm going with that? So, anyway, so communal narcissists. So what they will do is they will use black magic. They will use, new agey, I know you better than you. I have a hotline to the universe. I have a hotline to God. I'm using the Bible to abuse, which is what they do. You know, they pick and choose the sections of the Bible that they're going to use to justify their behavior. Think of Jim Jones. Think of Jim Jones. He convinced, what, 1,000 people, 900 and some odd people to drink poisoned Kool-Aid. And those he couldn't convince, he shot. You know, they're dangerous. They're dangerous, absolutely. But they're only dangerous if you buy their bullshit. They're only dangerous if you drink their Kool-Aid. They're only dangerous if you go, oh, they're a black witch, I should be afraid. No, we do not negotiate with terrorists. No. Good always outwins evil. Always. May take a while, but St. Michael's got it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's like they do this to instill fear. They do, because they want you in fear, obligation, and guilt, which makes you easier to control. So that is why they do the whole black magic thing. That is why they do the whole I'm a powerful warlock, or I'm a powerful witch, or, you know, whatever fucking, you know, that they're doing. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. If you are truly fearful of that energy or whatever, go find somebody who works in spirituality, in lightness, in goodness, and ask how to protect yourself. If that's truly what you're afraid of, then go find the counteract to that and do it. So, you know, some people sage, some people salt, some people, you know, get crystals, whatever makes you feel better, do it. And then recognize, though, they have no power here. It's just like Labyrinth. It's just like Labyrinth. The end of Labyrinth, where Sarah finally looks at the Goblin King, David Bowie, and says, you have no power here. And then poof, everything goes away. Of course, and if it was me with David Bowie, I'd be like, so baby, how you doing? I'll move in. You know, so anyway, I really loved David Bowie. Anyway, because, you know, he was really handsome. Anyway, so, and a great singer, and really smart and funny. Okay, sorry, went to my happy place. Okay, so the point being is, if you don't give them power, then they have no power. You have no power here. You're a fraud. Have fun with that. You know, it's really, that's what it is. Don't give them the power. You yourself, you have the power. You do. You can either choose to buy into it, or you can choose to go, you're full of shit. Have fun. You know, and dear Lord, send them back their energy, good or bad. Just send them back their energy. Don't want it. Thank you. You know, that's what you do, or whatever your higher power is. So you don't worry about it. They do this whole thing to intimidate, fear, obligation, guilt, concern, you know, that whole thing. All right. That was that question. Okay, let's see if there are any other questions over here. Whenever he was furious, he would open up his Bible and teach me forgiveness. Oh my. Yeah, my dad would do that too. Yeah, absolutely. What do we do if the narc convinced the kid's psychologist that she is the victim? Oh, now there's a sticky wicket. So that I'm not sure of. I've seen it over and over again. See, this is why I always caution people, you know, getting the kids into therapy, because if you do not have a therapist who understands the power plays, who understands abuse, who understands how the kids are used as pawns, the therapist will buy into the victim mentality of the other parent, because there is parental alienation out there, and it often does get flipped onto the true target of abuse, and the narcissist will claim that they're being alienated. So you got to make sure that whoever is seeing your kid really, honest to God, truly understands narcissistic abuse. They've got to really get it. Because if they don't, you run the risk of them falling for the victim play of the true abuser, and then having it flipped on you, and that you're the bad guy, and then the kids get brainwashed. Holy shit, what a clusterfuck. So yeah, that's the only thing I can say on that. You get a smarter psychologist. Yeah, I like that. And sometimes that's hard, because then the abuser will claim that you're getting rid of the psychologist because, you know, they caught you and they see you for what you are, and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it's a thing. Okay, let me go back to a question over here. Print on demand and Kindle Direct. Can you talk more about that? Okay, so I've had several people contact me going, hey, we want to tell our story. We want to write a book. We want to do this. We want to do that. So how do you do it? So the first thing is you write it. You just do it. You sit down and you write. So what I do when I write is I try to force myself to write a half an hour a day. It used to be an hour a day. I don't have that much time anymore. I am currently in the middle of writing my next book. So you have to sit down and you have to make time. You have to make time. Is it a priority or not? So you make time and you write. Even if it's crap, you write. And then you go back and you edit it. And then you write some more. And then you edit. And then you go back and you write. And you write and you edit. You write and you edit. You write and you edit until it's done. And then when it's done, you upload it to Kindle Direct. Now, for me, I took it a step further because I wanted things to look professional. So I hired a professional artist to do the artwork for the outside of the book. And I also had my ad guy, Andy Brinnitz, working with me to help with, the layout and making sure that I had the right editor. And, so I went the extra step and I got an actual editor. I got a person to do the layout or to do the artwork and things like. It depends on how much you want to put into it. It depends on how much money you want to put into it. It depends on how little money you want to put into it. You could just turn it out without a cover and just a title page, and go to Kindle Direct and look up their rules for publishing, and it will tell you how to, basically. So there that is. I hope that answered that question. If it did not, IM me, because I wasn't really sure what specifics you were looking for. So I have had a lot of very good people working for me to help me get the books out and help me get the lectures out, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So Mercury is helping me with the lectures. Andy was helping me with the books. It's Dan Vance was Surf and Ski was doing the cups for me. So yeah, I have a whole team of people working for me, and it does help to have a team of people working for you, but you can do it on your own. You absolutely can. There's nothing that says you cannot self-publish on your own. So go to Kindle, look it up, see what they say. That would be the best suggestion I have. You have a more specific question, IM me it, and I'll try to answer it. Okay. What are we doing on time? Oh, I need to probably go get my cord for my computer. Hang on. Let me see if there's a question over here. Okay. I do know someone with NPD, PPD, and hoarding OCD. OCPD. They often have bad hygiene, even if the dentist tells them that they need to brush their teeth. They refuse, and they think it's a shame. And yes, they believe they will live forever. They will not take care of their affairs. Yeah, absolutely. They narcissists are notorious for not leaving wills, or not leaving a will that's valid, because they don't want to face the fact that someday this world is going to keep spinning without them. Yeah, absolutely. Conspiracy theories. They love conspiracy theories. Yep, they do. Because they feel like they have a special insight that the rest of us peons don't have. Okay, don't go anywhere. I'm going to go run grab my cord because. Hang on. I'll be right back. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my heavens. Murgatroyds. All right. Good heavens. Okay. Here we go. All right. All right. I'm coming back. Okay. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So, yes, they love conspiracy theories. They love stuff like that. They like to feel like they have the inside line that us regular peons don't have, because they need to feel special. So, yeah, that's why they love conspiracy theories. They can't handle being a speck of sand in the universe. Yes. Okay. All right. So let me go back to here. Masochistic behaviors. How does this happen? Okay. So I've had a lot of survivors of abuse come to me and be concerned with their sexuality, in that because of the sexual abuse that they endured from either their original abuser or their romantic abuser or whatever, that they have suddenly found themselves being unable to find gratification unless they are being choked or whipped or harmed, or some sort of kind of an abusive kind of thing. Well, so here's the thing. It's only a problem if it's a problem, is what I like to tell people. If you're concerned about it, then maybe it's time to take a look at where did those behaviors come from. So where were they learned? How did you get them? What are you thinking about yourself? What is your self-esteem in regards to how you enjoy sex? So this is what blows people's minds. Self-esteem is not a point in time. Here it is. It's great on all levels. It's not. You can have great self-esteem being an executive in an office situation, but you can have terrible self-esteem when it comes to your own sexuality. So I know. I was like, what? So take a look at where you learned what was pleasurable and what was not, and how did it get connected with you being choked or beaten or whipped or harmed. Now, I'm not saying that BDSM is a horrible, terrible, awful thing. It's not, if you're enjoying it. If it's giving you pleasure and you're not feeling guilty or obligated or fearful or any of that stuff, then that's okay. But if you are finding yourself going, ooh, I don't like the way I feel after this, then we need to change something. So then that means we need to take a look at, where did the disconnect happen between a healthy, normal, loving, being able to enjoy loving interaction, no choking, no whipping, no beating, no, just one-on-one, looking into the eyes, having an amazing sensual sexual experience. When did that change? Or was it always abusive like that? And are you able to stay in the moment with a healthy partner and maintain eye contact? Have that loving, good sexual relationship? Are you able to enjoy it? Can you allow yourself to be pleasured by that? So these are all things that you're going to have to figure out and write down and journal and figure out, and why, and this, that, and the other thing. And again, like I said, it's only a problem if it is a problem. So if your partner is like going, okay, I really would like to do something other than choking you, so, then that's a problem. Does that make sense? So explore, get with a good therapist, talk to them about it. Now, here's the problem. There's a lot of therapists out there that won't even fucking discuss this stuff, which I'm just sitting here going, really? Oh my God. Because it's a part and parcel of having been in an abusive relationship. It's just what abusers tend to do. It's a way to dominate, right? And it's a way to intimidate, and it's a way to connect them to you sexually, energetically, etc. So do you see where I'm going with that? So write it out. Write it out. When did this happen? What would you like? And what is the fear when that element is not there? What are you thinking? What are you feeling if you're not being choked? What are you thinking? What are you feeling if you're not being beaten? What are you thinking? What are you feeling if it's a loving interaction? And that's really where you start working on it. So I hope that answered the question. If it doesn't, again, I am me, and I'll try to, I gotta go to half an hour. Okay. I'll try to answer it a little better. So, so masochistic behaviors come from us being treated that way, having some form of pleasure with it, and continuing to do it. Now, masochistic behaviors also can be emotional. So in other words, the self-sabotage, the constantly putting down, the, this kind of thing. And those are all learned behaviors. They're all learned behaviors. So if they can be learned, they can be unlearned, and they can be replaced with healthier behaviors. It all has to do with self-esteem. It really, truly does. And that's not to say that you cannot have a playful sexual connection with somebody and have fun. But if it's to the point where you're like getting harmed, then that's not playful and that's not healthy. So I hope that answered the question. Okay, let's see. Okay, I am referring to full-blown malignant when I say I think there's 30%. I really do. All right. How to make a revenge on your ex-narc. Is it worth it? No, it's never worth it, guys. Never. Guys, listen to me now. Believe me later, okay? When you get out of their clutches, the best revenge is for you to live well and never mention their name again. Because they want them to be on your mind all the time, all the time, all the time. And we think that revenge, whatever that looks like, is going to give us the closure or the satisfaction. So let me clue you into something. There is no closure. There isn't. And harming another person, really? Is that going to make you feel good? Really? Because now you're acting like them. Yeah, now you're acting like them. So what is that flea? Where did you learn it? Get rid of it It's not healthy. It's not normal. Now, that does not mean that you quote unquote forgive them. I love the thing I posted today from Nadia, can't think of her name, but Nadia, she's a minister up in, I think in Denver. And she talks about forgiveness. And forgiveness is not giving them a pass. It's not like what you did was okay. What it is taking bolt cutters and cutting that connection that you have to them. Let that resentment go. Because let me tell you something. It's like picking up 2 hot coals intending to throw it at them, but the only person who is getting burned is you. Let it go. The best revenge is to live well. You don't have to give them a pass for what they did. Absolutely not. But you do have to cut those chains that are keeping you, the anger chains that are keeping you connected to them. That's just another way to get your supply. That's just another way for us to stay connected to our favorite drug, which is our abuser. Cut those chains. Cut those chains. Revenge is a dish best served cold. And the best revenge, live well. Live well. All right. Yeah, oftentimes narcissists will force us into doing sexual things that we would not otherwise do. They love to do things like filming, sexual acts, or getting you to go into threesomes or orgies or whatever, and then they use that film later on as abuse. Yes, that is revenge porn. Yes, it is illegal. However, they still do it. Because they'll say, I will send this to your family and friends if you don't stay with me, or if you expose me for the asshole that I am, or, whatever. So yeah, they do that. They absolutely try to hold something over the other person. And they will create situations where the target of abuse will feel like it is them. They're the bad guy, they're the bad girl, they're this, they're that, oh my gosh, it's all them. But in reality, the narcissist has behind the scenes set it up so that you've been a target. You've been a target, and they will use it against you. So yeah, they're fucking evil assholes. Anyway, okay. Yeah, and they force us into stuff, and then they use it against us. Then they'll call us a slut or a whore, or you're a gigolo, or whatever they do. Male and female do this. So, you're oversexed, you're an octopus, you're blah, 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 blah. So, but when in reality, it was them that was pushing the whole sex thing. My friend, age 40, is financially dependent on his narcissistic parents. He's now fully consciously aware of his situation and wants to get out. He has been working for the father's business without or minimal pay, doesn't own the car he drives. Oh, dear God. Should he keep playing the game and stay there until he finds a job and can save money to move out? Or would it be best for him to get out, seek shelter, and stay with a friend? Right now, I'm the only person in his life that really understands what's going on with him. I'm an NLP trainer and have been coaching him. I've been learning a lot about emotional abuse and NPD. His parents are doing their best to isolate him. Okay, as long as he is under their thrall, he will never get better. As long as he goes back into that fog, as long as he has their post-hypnotic suggestions going, because remember how I talked about a few weeks ago how narcissists do post-hypnotic suggestions. They do the whole lying over and over and over and over until we believe it. So the parents are doing the same thing. So until he gets absolutely away from them, it's not going to stick. It's not going to stick. He's not going to be able to stand on his own 2 feet. He needs support. He needs a therapist. He needs a support system. He needs a tribe. And he needs to start getting out of there. I would suggest, have him start reading books, like Object of My Affection and The Disease to Please and all of these other ones. It's going to be hard for him. He's been under their control since birth. So, he needs a therapist and he needs to get away from them as quickly as possible. But he also needs support, and he needs a job, and he needs, the means to get away from them, which is it's the catch-22, and they will make it so that he doesn't have the funds to get out. That's why they've been little minimum pay to no pay, and they own the car, and you see where I'm going with that? So yeah, he's going to need as much support as he possibly can get. So there is that. All right, Nadia Bolts, thank you, Nadia Bolts, I love her. How does EMDR work in regards to narcissistic abuse, PTSD? So here's the thing, PTSD complex post-traumatic stress disorder. So the difference between the two is complex happens over and over and over and over and over and over for a period of time. Whereas PTSD is a one-time or a limited time event, such as witnessing a car accident, seeing a robbery, war, things like that. Complex post-traumatic stress disorder is over a period of time. So all that means is that the trauma continued to happen and continued to happen and continued to happen. So EMDR works the same way on narcissistic abuse as it does on a one-time event. So again, though, you must have a practitioner who knows what the fuck they're doing. I unfortunately had a client that went off on their own to find an EMDR therapist, and the one that was picked didn't know what they were doing and was terrified and over their heads. And rather than do the right thing and say, you know what, this is beyond my means, let me refer you to, and then handing them off to somebody that could have dealt with it, they just kept them going and kept them going. But they didn't do EMDR. They just kept doing talk therapy. So it's like, really? God, step away from my profession, seriously. So yeah, so you've got to be careful with whoever you pick to do EMDR or whatever. And if they're not upfront about, okay, this is the way we do it, this is how long it's, we plan on doing a little bit of this, and then we're going to dive into the EMDR, and we're going to da-da-da-da-da. So, if you're like 3-4 months into it and they still haven't done EMDR, then Houston, you got a problem. So yeah. There that is. Okay. How to deal with work that wants to look at your social media. Well, I am not a fan of corporations looking at my social media. That's why I'm very private. And there are corporations out there that they insist on that. They want to know who you are. They want to know what you're doing. They want to know, are you partying on the weekends, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if you don't want them looking at your social media, don't work for them. In this day and age, that's really your option. It's like you either consent and then you make sure that you don't post, naked pictures of you climbing up, I don't know, the chimney or whatever. I don't know. I never did any of that stuff. Do you see where I'm going with that? You don't post pictures that could possibly be used against you. But again, to me, that's kind of like, well, that's none of their fucking business, because what I do on my own time is my own time. So, yeah. So you just don't work for them. You just don't work for them. Okay, let's see. All right. What advice do you have for someone who wants the CO, the family narc? What? Wants to CO, the family narc, but is afraid of losing everyone else to the smear campaign. Can you rephrase that? Because I'm not quite sure I know what you're talking about. What advice do you have for somebody who wants to CO, the family narc, but is afraid of losing everyone else to the smear campaign? Oh, confront the family narc? Okay, Kristen, can you clarify? Because I'm not quite sure what you mean. So talk to me, Goose. All right. All right. Support when no family around. Red flags to look for. Okay, in support groups. Okay, so you're gonna need support. I said this last last video that I did. You're going to need support. When you are leaving an abusive relationship, you absolutely need your tribe. You absolutely need that, that comfort, that solace, that you're not alone. You need the people to go, yeah, don't pick up the phone. No, don't you return that text. Go no contact, stay no contact. You're going to need the people to reinforce the good behavior. So when you go to look for support groups, the red flags to look out for are the very same red flags that every single abuser does, which is wanting to know too much information really quick, wanting to be a part of your life nonstop from the get-go, wanting to control every single meeting and everything you think and say and do, love bombing. Oh, you're fabulous. You're like my best friend. Oh my God, you're awesome. And I just love you. And I just want to be with you 24/7. And that's what they do. And that is different from somebody who you click with, who's like, hey, you're really cool. I like you. I like hanging out with you. We'll do it when we can, With a narcissist or with an abuser, it's like glom, and there's no alone time. So yeah, watch out for that. Watch out for people that are perpetual victims. Watch out for people that are, you know, wanting the sympathy of the group all the time. Now, obviously, at some points, we are going to need sympathy or at least empathy, you know, for shit, you did not deserve that. You did not deserve to have to go through that. Absolutely. But if somebody is the perpetual victim, oh, Houston, that's a huge problem. So yeah, so watch for things like that. It's the same thing you watch out for in any relationship. So yeah, there that is. I hope that answered that question. Okay. Yeah, that's the thing I like about Nadia is that, you know, I'm not a super religious person. I mean, I believe in, you know, Jesus, God, Mother Mary, all the saints and all that stuff. But because of my upbringing with my dad, I'm always kind of like, yeah, you just stay over there in your church and I'll stay over here, okay? So that's what I like about Nadia is that she's religious, but she's not overbearing, which I think is nice. So, and she's real, and she's a recovering addict, and she's fucking awesome. Anyway, why is it that the abuse feels like just yesterday, even months out, with lots of healing work? Sometimes, especially when I wake up, the passage of time doesn't make much sense because so much time has passed while feeling like no time at all. So, yes, and part of that is because in that healing period, we have been bringing up the image of our abuser. And we have been working through our brain. Remember, it's just like quitting alcohol or quitting heroin or any other, you know, substance, is that our brain is going, why isn't this person here? Why isn't this substance here that was so important to my life? So in a sense, yes, it has been months, but in another sense, no, it hasn't, because you're still bringing up the image of the abuser, trying to work it through. So it's really important that when you bring up the image of the abuser, that it is to work on cutting that tie like we talked about with the bolt cutters, and it's to work on, you know, okay, who in my past, who in the original wound did they remind me of? That's okay. But if you're bringing up the image of the abuser because you miss them, or you're going to take a little trip down memory lane, you cut that shit off. It's like, thank you for your input. I see you over there, pink elephant. I am not playing. I see what you're doing. I know you want me to think about my abuser and reminisce about how fabulous it was, but you know what? It wasn't. So fuck off. Do you see where I'm going with that? So yeah, that's why it feels simultaneously forever and yesterday. So really important that you start moving the abuser into the past, and that you do not allow your brain to get that high from bringing him up, you know, so we get that intermittent positive rewards. Let him go. Let him or her go. Let him go. Yeah, and that's why it does that. Oh, cuts off. Okay, that's okay. Back to your question. What advice do you have for someone who wants to cut off the family narc but is afraid of losing everyone else to the smear campaign? So you can't. You do not negotiate with terrorists. The smear campaign will happen. You must stand in your truth, and you must stand in your certainty. And you know, the smear campaign is going to happen. They're going to do it. They are. And just know that it's coming, and the people who know you and love you will support you, and the ones who don't, won't. And the ones who are the flying monkeys will side with the abuser. And that's when you really know who your real true friends are. It's like, you know, if they're siding with the abuser, they're not your friend. So that's why support is so important. So yeah, I hope that answered the question. Don't be afraid of losing everyone else in the smear campaign. If you lose them, they were not your tribe. Go find your tribe. Okay. All right. Wanting to move in together after only 2 months, huge red flag, or less. They want to move in together immediately. They're your girlfriend or boyfriend immediately. They want everything immediately. You know, don't get me started. All right. I went no contact with my mother and didn't explain until my brother asked. I told him the truth about her abuse throughout my life and no reason to deal with it. That's enough. Doesn't matter what the rest of the family thinks. I'm free of her. Good job. Yes, absolutely. All right. I've got 13 minutes. Okay. What to say to people who have been manipulated into believing the abuse didn't happen, or that it was just a misunderstanding? You hand them the books. You don't say anything. You don't say anything, because you cannot convince somebody that abuse has happened if they are determined to believe that it hasn't. So it's the backfire effect. So the other thing you could do is you just hand them Object of My Affection, or you hand them the Cha-Cha book, or you hand them any of the books, Toxic Parents, you know, gosh, the Psychic Vampires or Emotional Vampires. You hand them any of those books and go, really? How about you read this? Tell you what, read this, and then we can talk. And if they don't read it, they're not your friend. If they are interested in being and having a relationship with you, they will understand and meet you where you are coming from. This is the thing. In a healthy, normal relationship, people meet each other where they are coming from. And they try to understand each other where they are coming from so that they can better communicate with them. Does that make sense? Narcissists don't do that. And flying monkeys are minor narcissists. So if they do not meet you where you are to help understand, you know, help themselves understand where you are coming from, they are not your friend. Be done. Does that make sense? So, you know, you can hand them the book, you can encourage them to educate themselves. If they do not do it, they've shown you through their actions who they are. Trust them and believe them the first time. When somebody shows you who they are, believe that the first time. Don't wait for a second time for them to prove themselves to you. It's like, nope, you know, either you're going to educate yourself on this and meet me where I am and help understand where I am coming from, or you're not. And if you choose not to, well, then you know what? Have a nice life and be done. Be done. Be done. Be done. Be done. Okay. Okay. And they leave you in limbo. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Do they get their karma? No, they don't. Honey, you got to understand, when you're dealing with a narcissist, they do not have the emotional cog that healthy, normal people have. They don't have that ability to put themselves into somebody else's shoes and go, ooh, how does that feel? Ooh, God, that must suck. Oh, Jesus. They don't. They don't understand karma because they think they're right. They have never done a wrong thing in their entire life, no matter how horribly they have treated someone. They don't get it. They don't. They think they're above it. They think they can buy their way into heaven, literally. You know, so these people, they don't get karma at all. Okay, so some narcissists are able to work the system and get promotions and this, that, and the other thing, and it looks from the outside that they are very successful. Karma, like the justice system, grinds very slowly. And you may not see it this lifetime. You may not, or you may, but it grinds very slowly, but very finely. And just because it looks like from the outside that they've got a job and they're doing great and they got a new boyfriend or girlfriend or da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, the things that you are not seeing is what goes on behind closed doors. If they treated you like this, they'll be treating the new narcissistic supply like this. If they are liars, if they are cheaters, if they are, you know, no honor, you know, no integrity, it will come back to bite them. Eventually, they will get caught. It always happens. And narcissists tend to be so fucking arrogant that they tell people point blank how they are going to fuck them over and what they are going to do. I'm going to make sure that you're not friends with your best friend. I'm going to make sure that you don't have, you know, your friend do this, that, and the other thing. They tell you exactly how they are going to fuck you over. They do. And if we're listening, we'll go, oh shit, they just said how exactly they're going to isolate me. But what happens is we're in the fog by that point, and we refuse to listen to the family and the friends who go, hello, did you not just hear what they said? Did you not just get that they said they were going to make sure to isolate you? Did you not just get that they said they were going to make sure that you and I could not go out and hang out at movies? Did you make sure that, you know, if we're listening, you know, we'll hear it. And on hindsight, we'll hear it. But in the moment, when we're in the fog, no. Does the karma come back and get them? Yeah, it does. It always does. It always, again, good always wins against evil. There might be some battles that are lost, but in the ultimate scheme of things, good always wins against evil. The light always illuminates the darkness. So, you know, but again, wanting karma is another form of wanting revenge. Stop it. It doesn't matter what they're doing. It doesn't matter that they have a job. It doesn't matter what they're doing. It doesn't. What matters is what you're doing. Are you happy? Are you working on you? Are you finding or remembering who you are? Are you doing fun things? When was the last time you finger painted? When was the last time you did a kite? When was the last time you walked out and looked at the sunset? When was the last time you ran out in the middle of a rainstorm, which I did when we had that huge monsoon, except when it started lightning. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to get killed. So I went back inside. Anyway, the point being is, it doesn't matter what they're doing. It matters what you're doing. It does. Their karma is going to be their karma. You cannot treat somebody horribly and expect to be happy, because somewhere deep inside, they know that they're fucking evil, and they don't have the same capacity to love that we have. And so they will just continue to run through jobs and through people and trying to fill that unfillable hole. And that's a miserable place to be. Do I have compassion for them? Yeah, it sucks to be them. I would not want to live 2 seconds in their heads. It is a dark, horrible, awful, scary fucking place. Do I ever want them in my life? Nope. I do not have idiot compassion. I do not, just like Pima Chodron talks about. It's like, you know what? They're damaged. They're harmful. They're hurtful. I can see that they're harmful and hurtful. I get that they're suffering. I got it. But you know what? I don't need them in my life. Good luck. God bless. May you be free of suffering. You let them go. You let them go. Their karma is going to be their karma. Now, if you happen to hear about it and you smirk a little bit, okay, that's great. But let it go. Let it go. It doesn't matter. It really, truly does not matter what they are doing. So let it go. I was told to put down my psych books and consider what was real and what isn't by family members. I told them they were not my family if it was their opinion. Good for you. Okay. Yes, they do get their karma in 5.5 months. I've never seen a person getting hit by karma as often as the narc constantly. Yeah, and that can happen. Absolutely. Is it possible to find out you were surrounded by lots of narc during your lifetime after researching, or is this just paranoia because of reading and watching videos? No, I think it's an opening. I think it's an awakening. It really is, and realizing that some behavior was not healthy and not good, and that they may have had traits of, or they may have been full blown. So yeah, it is an awakening. Once we have educated on ourselves, you cannot unsee what you have now seen. Does that make sense? And so unless you're just completely in denial and you haven't worked on the original wound, in which case you could not see what you've seen because you're in denial. So there that is. Okay. Toxic Parents by Susan Forward has been great. Good. I just wish she used the language like BPD and NPD and CPTSD. Okay, they get their karma, but they don't understand it. They think they are the victim. Yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely what they do. Okay, absolutely. In the beginning, he said, are you willing to take the risk to get hurt? You don't know what's ahead of you. Sociopaths will tell you exactly what's to come. Yeah, they do. They let you know. They absolutely let you know. They do. Ew, creepy. So the abuser said, I own you. You will always be mine. Thought it was a joke. Nope, they're not kidding. They are not kidding. Okay, so at the same time, I keep going over the things I should have not done or said. I'm feeling sad about the pain I may have caused. How do you move on with these thoughts? So here's the deal. Narcissists play the victim to the hilt, to the hilt. They make Lawrence, what the fuck was his name? The actor. Fuck, my brain. I was going to say Fishburne, but that's not it. It was Lawrence of Arabia? No. Lawrence, fuck, British guy, 1930s. Shit. Anyway, him. So they make those actors look like amateurs. They do. Have we retaliated in the heat of the moment when the narcissist is attacking and raging and screaming at it? Have we said things to them that could possibly be hurtful? Yeah, we have. Did we really hurt them? Probably not. because they do not care. All they do is they keep tabs about how they can use that later. So if you are feeling guilty and you want to get rid of the guilt, you need to work on forgiving yourself. You do. So Radical Acceptance by Tara Brach, Radical Forgiveness by Colin Tipping is for the other people. Radical Acceptance is for ourselves. Write it out. Write an I'm sorry letter if you need to, and then burn it and then let it go. And if that thought comes back up, you tell it, nope, I am not inviting you in for coffee. You may not come in and play. Go bye-bye. I'm not doing this. And you let it go. Okay, so have we said things to our narc in our defense, trying to get them to see reality, and they claimed that we hurt their feelings? Yeah, absolutely. Is it real? No, it's not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not, because they would not say and do the things that they have said and done. You know, I had to do what I had to do, you know, their justification for all the rotten things that they've done. No, they did not have to do that. They did not. So yeah, they don't care. They don't care. Don't ascribe to, what you're doing is you're ascribing to them the empathy and the emotions that you have. And this is our biggest mistake, is we assume that the abuser has got some bit of humanity in them because of the love bombing that they did. But remember, this thing here was them mirroring you back to you. You fell in love with you, and you are empathic, and you have the emotions, and you do love. They do not. Stop giving them the anthropomorphization. Oh boy, I fucked that word up. Anthropomorphization, where you ascribe something that's an inanimate object to have the same emotions or the same things as a living sentient being. So stop ascribing that to them, because they don't have it. They don't have it. So cut yourself a break, forgive yourself, move on. It's like, seriously. Okay. All right. How to love yourself even when you're not being productive, but focusing on healing and growing, especially lazy was a slur by the snark. That is the common slur. Oh my God. They will sit there and they will tell you that you're lazy, your children are lazy, your friends are lazy, your this is lazy, that is lazy. Who they are talking about is themselves. Abso-freaking-lutely. They are talking about themselves. So you've got to understand, when you hear your abuser's voice in your head, you must do thought stopping. Thank you for your input. Shut the fuck up. Why? Because I say so. I am not lazy. I am working on myself, and it's okay. Why? Because I say so. Do you see where I'm going with that? So you've got to challenge it. You've got to challenge it. Always, always, always challenge it. Okay, I am running out of time. Fuck, it's 11 o'clock. God damn it, I didn't even finish these. Damn it. Okay. Okay. I answered that one. How does the golden child scapegoat play out in a single family? I already answered that one. Do non-personality disordered parents act out stuff that their disordered parents did to them with their child? If they have not worked on the issue, yes, they will, because it's normal. Kids act things out. When things happen, they act things out. You know, it's like they find out that grandma got killed in a car accident. The parent tells the kid goes, okay, and then runs outside and plays like crazy. And then the parent's going, oh, is this normal? Well, yeah, it is. Kids play hard. They do physical stuff first to get to the emotional stuff, because they don't have the cognitive ability to process the emotional stuff. So yes, when a non-disordered parent is triggered by the age that their child is, when something happens to them or happened to them, yes, they can act it out, and it's because it's unconscious. So that just means that the person needs to be conscious, because conscious people don't have to act things out. Unconscious people do. Conscious people do not. So I hope that answered that question. Okay, one more. How is it that we attract abusers? Do we balance their equation? How do we not attract them? Education. So we attract abusers because we have something that they do not, and it is that light. It is that hope. It is that love. It is that empathy. It is that kindness. We have something that they will never possess, ever. And that's why when they get us, it's that love bomb, love bomb, love bomb, love bomb, love bomb, love bomb, love bomb. But then, boom, their mask slips and they're pissed because they cannot possess, just like that person saying, I own you, they cannot possess that light within you, because that is your light. That is not their light. That is your light. They don't have that light. And they're jealous and they're pissed off that you have that light. And then they set about to dim that light. And they do it by devaluing, by putting down, by lying, by getting us to lie, by cheating, by stealing, you know, you name it. That's how they try to dim our light. And don't let them. Don't let them. So how do we not attract abusers? Abusers will not even attempt going near somebody who recognizes them for the piece of shit that they are. So you educate the hell out of yourself and you make your boundaries rock solid. I mean, like, sun comes up in the east, your boundaries are in place. And they'll, you know, if they're really arrogant, they'll test them, but then as soon as you say no to them, they're peace out. So it's a matter of, again, the art of war. If you know yourself, you have a 50% chance of winning against your enemy. If you also know your enemy, you have a 100% chance of winning against your enemy. So yeah, you just draw super, super strong boundaries, and they will be attracted to people with light. They do. They are, because they don't have that. They are darkness. They are evil. And anyone who convinces somebody to lie, to cheat, to steal, to give up their family and friends, yeah, that's evil. That's evil. So they will always be attracted to the light, and they'll try to kill it. So for example, if somebody has diabetes, they'll start shoving sugary foods at them. If somebody has a heart condition, they'll start shoving fatty foods at them. If somebody is, you know, not in good health, they'll start, you know, doing whatever they can to kill them, because that's ultimately, that's what they want. They're soul killers. And if they can't kill your soul, they'll try to kill your body, and vice versa. So Laurence Olivier. Oh, Laura, thank you, because that was going to drive me absolutely insane. Okay, thank you, Laurence Olivier. God, and it's so funny because I watch his movies now. You know, it's like I saw him when I was a kid, and I thought he was really cool. And I go back and I watch them now, and I'm like, damn, he's chewing the scenery. What the fuck? Anyway, thank you, Laura. That was going to drive me crazy. Okay, kids, I gotta run. So there are other questions that I did not get to. So this weekend is going to be Susanna Quintana. She is going to be on. We're going to be talking about healing and moving on after abuse, all of that sort of good stuff. She's a wonderful person. I love her to death. I'm very excited to have her on the show again. So have a great day. Have a great week. I will see you Sunday at noon. Don't forget to sign up for Patreon. We need to talk with Chris if you are interested in supporting these videos. Also, the Boise lecture and book signing is going to be August 25th. Go to Mercury Eventbrite. Sign up there so I know what we're doing. Okay. Have a great day, guys. I will talk to you later.